Welcome to episode 87 of the OVW podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. My name is Jack Minogue.
And I'm Brian Hines.
Today
Oh, go ahead.
No,
friend.
No friend. Go ahead.
Please say thanks for joining us, and we hope everybody is doing well.
And also, we got a producer.
Yeah. Well, he didn't produce that in my notes.
Actually, I took that part out of the script. I felt I left the disembodied voice on Fan Zone because I actually have a job to do. But I actually took that thing out where you call me out in the opening because.
Well, I'll be danged.
I don't know. It started to feel weird.
What do I even say now?
But I am Tiny Brian.
Should I say today we are getting into all the action from OVWTV 1331, emanating live from legendary Hot Point Davis Arena on February 13th, 2025?
I think that's a great thing to say.
Thank you.
And
this is the voice of the other producer. Call him out at every opportunity.
Whoa.
I feel called out about being called out.
The rare occurrence of hearing our producer, P.S. Woodard, speak.
I can't even believe it.
No, I did not see that coming. I almost didn't hear it coming.
There's the whole show right there.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week on the OVW podcast.
That was a whole sentence, too. That wasn't just him yelling a word.
Yeah, usually it's just kind of like caveman grunts, but wow, we got a whole sentence. Malachi, thanks for joining us a year and a half in. Thanks for joining us.
Itzo Kazago is going to be so pumped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's been looking forward to that for a while.
Malachi's one fan. Come on, Malachi. Okay, I know you're speaking full sentences over there now, but don't get your head too big now, all right? You just got one fan. I got two. So.
Yeah. Don't let your head get too big with the afro. Make it as big as you want.
Fine. I agree with that. Yeah. I agree with that.
Because I'm right there with you, man.
You want to tell us about some tour updates, friend?
All right. Every Thursday, OVW Rise at Hot Point Davis Arena at 6:30 p.m. March Mayhem. Hot Point Davis Arena, March 29th. OVW Appalachian Armageddon, Pikeville, Kentucky, as part of the legendary Hillbilly Days Festival. That is April 25th. And there is a free all-ages show at Element Eatery in Cincinnati, Ohio, and that is June 28th. You can get tickets for all of these shows and many, many more in the future at OVWTix, that's TIX.com.
Right, and we are, still trying to do this thing where we record before Fan Zone Live, so we're still tinkering with how some of these segments are going to go.
Yeah.
But we do have a pretty new, pretty important segment that I guess I will let Tiny Brian take us away on. And that would be our sponsor at Jason at Book.
Oh, no. He's done with us for now.
Oh, well, Jason.
Sorry about that.
Jason
We do love you, Jason.
Yes, we most certainly do.
We hope we'll see him again for March Mayhem.
Jason at bookperfectpitch.com. That's a free one. Okay.
Yes.
All right, okay.
Yeah, we love Jason. Jason at bookperfectpitch.com. You get that one for free, as Jackman said. I completely agree with that decision. But we hope we'll get him back to talk about him coming to March Mayhem. Mm-hmm. But while we're here, we'll talk about it more during Fan Zone Live, obviously, guys. But I wanted to ask you guys all the posters for March Mayhem this week are for Rise that's coming up tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Is all talking about qualifying matches for March Mayhem.
I love it.
Without any kind of what the stipulation is that they're qualifying into. We don't know if it's a tournament. We know the Nightmare Cup should have been last fall. Is it possible we're going to see a men's and women's Nightmare Cup?
I feel like we would be building toward that with a lot more steam if that was on the table. Honestly, I think this is just some, and feel free to disagree with me, I think that this might just be some good old-fashioned stakes setting. This is where every wrestler wants to be in March. This is where every wrestler on the planet wants to be. You have to fight for your spot here at March Mayhem.
Yes.
I love it. I considered reaching out to, folks at OVW, say qualifying for what, but honestly, I kind of like the suspense. I mean, we'll find out, and it's interesting.
Well, and I mean, they're bringing all the shooters off the bench for this thing, so I mean, we're going to get some entertaining matches no matter what. Very, very much looking forward to basically, every Thursday, right? Every Thursday, but it feels like these first 3 months out of the year really hit the ground running as far as pay-per-views go.
Yes.
And part of that is because you have such a quick turnaround between the break and the first pay-per-view in January. Mm-hmm. February is a short month, and then it feels like we're right into March with March Mayhem.
Yeah.
We are really, really hitting it hard in the early months of the year here at OVW.
I love tournaments in general, But if there is the idea or the inkling of a tournament type elimination with matches and stuff like that, I'm all for it. I absolutely love it.
Well, there is another rather famous sporting event
That we won't mention.
that is alliterative with the word March, that happens in March, that is involved with the tournament.
Watch it.
Right.
I just saw the NCAA's lawyers just peek through the curtain and point at me with a scary finger.
So shut it.
I guess I will. But it makes sense that they would do some sort of tournament for March Mayhem.
Also, go Cats. But
Absolutely.
Are they even gonna make it? Are they even gonna make it?
Oh, they're a lock. They've been a lock for weeks. Come
well,
on,
that's good to
go
know.
Big Blue.
Sorry, I'm still living in the last couple of years over here. In my mind, I've been more worried about what's happening at March Mayhem than March Madness.
That's using it. I think that's actually fair use.
Yeah, I think that cuts.
Okay. Well,
We'll
see. I'm not paying any. I'm not paying any fines.
Oh, me neither. Victor's gonna take care of it.
Okay. All right. And then we're good.
You're right. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Take care of it with my paycheck.
Hey, but ching. We have so many drums here now. We should have. I need you in here with a.
Yeah, we just need to bring Chad at My Daily Bourbon on, and he can play live drums.
He can sit here in the corner and play drums, and we can get Dave to play some guitar.
Yeah,
and then we have a live band.
Yeah, that is the unofficial house band.
And guys, looking at the clock, we've wasted enough time to dignify this as an episode of a podcast. Let's get into the episode of OVW TV that we're supposed to be covering. I'm gonna let you take it.
So we start off.
I know that you feel very heavily about it.
I feel a lot of things right now. We start the show with the Revolution in the ring. It looks like it's most of the Revolution. We've got Leather Daddy Doug. We've got J-Rod. We've got Mount Kadeem. We've got Star Rider, AJZ, and was there somebody else?
Leather Daddy Doug? Did you say Leather Daddy Doug?
Oh, I didn't say. Oh, yeah, I said him
Star
first.
Rider?
Shannon the Dude.
Chicanery
Oh,
the Dude.
yeah, Chicanery the Dude.
Chicanery the Dude.
I do want to say that I love seeing J-Rod kind of as we see the full spread of the Revolution. I love seeing J-Rod amongst their numbers because she is one of their champions. She's been there basically since the very beginning. But what we don't have in the Babyface's side is a female equivalent, at least one that's joining them.
Yeah.
And so I still love J-Rod being treated as a member and like being getting her screen time that she deserves, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously the match that this segment was building to, J-Rod was not involved in.
No.
That would be the main event of the evening.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're fine. What were we going to say?
I just said it.
So the Revolution is in the ring talking about, how Doug Basham's the best champion ever, and the Revolution is just the bee's knees, the be-all, end-all, and that doesn't sit well with everybody in the OVW locker room. So we see Cal Hero, Dustin Jackson, Super Z, and Spectacular, Jesse Goddard. They have something to say about that because they don't take too kindly to the Revolution folk, and they've got a big tag match at the end of the evening.
Yes, all of these guys that are representing the Babyfaces have their own problems with the Revolution. Dustin Jackson and Doug, obviously.
Yes.
We've been seeing them go back and forth up to and including the pay-per-view. Cal Hero, although his problem mostly with the Revolution we didn't see here.
Yeah.
It was Damon Olivencia. Super Z's mad at Star Rider. Obviously, we got the fake Super Z thing going on. And then Jesse Goddard's, he's still got a bone to pick with Mount Kadeem.
Well, yeah, rightly so.
These are your guys for the evening that are going to be defending the OVW locker room, not only on microphone, but later on in the ring.
Yes.
Did this feel kind of Nitro-ish to you guys?
I guess I can see an element of that.
The guys kind of line up and do almost the comic book, run towards each other moment. We had a couple of these tonight.
Honestly, kind of for me personally, any kind of factioned out action post 1997 is Nitro. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. Nitro is the better competitor. at least when they were at their height. I much prefer Nitro's height to WWE's height. Maybe that's just me. But I really do feel like any sort of like faction warfare post the breaking of the New World Order is Nitro.
Yeah.
So we're setting up the main event for the evening. We'll get into that later.
It was nice of them to bookend things.
I always like that symmetry.
Yeah.
The Venn diagram of things, where things interact, where things intersect, what they have in common, what they don't. I always think that's very interesting conversation to have, to delve into whenever we're talking about wrestling, especially like a 2-hour kind of tightly written wrestling show like OVW is.
Yeah.
Like, how many parallels can we find? How many parallels have they built in for us?
How many parallels can they park?
Zero. No, I think most of these guys travel together, so it's whoever is better at parallel parking, they get out and do it.
Yeah.
That's kind of just my opinion. Bout one of the evening, though. I made the joke. It wasn't me. I'll take credit for it. Where I kind of was like, who is Tyler Durden?
Yeah.
Because for a little while, I'm going to be honest, I think that was a question worth asking. We see him in our match, our first match of the evening.
Not the first time we've seen him, apparently, but I'll be goshed if I know exactly when I've seen him before.
Not the first time we've seen him, but
He's been scarce.
his name's Tyler Jordan. I mean, come on, like that's that's not a wrestling name. Those are two kids I went to kindergarten with. Okay, he's up against Anthony Katina, and you and I were talking last night about Anthony Katina.
Yeah.
I like arrogant baby faces. I think Cody Rhodes, obviously everyone that's listening to the show has heard me talk until I'm blue in the face about how much I love Cody Rhodes. I love the arrogance of Cody Rhodes. The I can overcome anything of a baby face. The I've been in a challenge before and I know how to overcome this challenge kind of arrogance of a baby face. I don't like cocky baby faces.
There's a difference. It's a subtle difference.
Huge difference. Now, where do you think I'm going with this? Is Anthony Katina arrogant or is Anthony Katina cocky?
Well, we had this talk last night, and you were leaning more towards the cocky side.
Do you disagree?
No, I wouldn't say that I disagree. I mean, it's good to have confidence in some situations in wrestling more often than other situations. It's good to have arrogance at times, but to just be flat out cocky is not always the thing to do. But
it makes it very hard for me to feel endeared to you.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I mean, Anthony Katina is very, very talented. Obviously, he got shot back into a huge spot as soon as he showed back up on the block for OVW, right?
Yeah.
Very, very talented. I would like to see him beat some more ass, to be 100% honest with you. I would like to see him be a little bit more game ready. I would like to see him stopping with going out to the crowd and doing crowd work, going to the top rope, trying to get the crowd to react. I want to see him come in and just do business, not like that other guy in the turkey suit. We'll talk about him later.
Yeah, that's
not strictly business.
Not strictly business.
No.
But I would just like to see. I don't think that I'm speaking out of church for anyone on this podcast, or even for a majority of the fans at Ohio Valley Wrestling. We like it when guys kind of feel attainable, where they kind of feel like they could be your friend, or like they could be, your son, daughter, whatever. Relatable.
Yeah.
I can't help but think that Anthony Katina, with the cockiness, the arrogance that goes into cockiness, really, I kind of cannot feel like he's that relatable.
As a result?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, Jimi Hendrix was the most talented guitar player in the world in his time, and he's still ranked as number one by Rolling Stone whenever they do a poll here and there, but he was among the most humble people you'd ever want to meet.
Yeah, I mean, very famously, I think he got asked, "Oh, Jimmy, what is it like to be the best guitar player in the world?" And he said, "I don't know. Ask this other guy."
Eric Clapton.
Well, I think Clapton said that about Hendrix. Hendrix said it about like a country guitar player.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think that was Roy Clark.
Yes, Roy Clark. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Roy Clark, by the way, is the GOAT.
And
yes.
And anybody that was asking Clapton why he's the best guitar player in the world is insane, because he never was. But he's a good riff master. He got some riffs, but I don't know if he was a great guitar player, right?
I think the story goes his answer was, I don't know, go ask Prince.
That's what it. Yes,
Yeah.
Clapton put it onto Prince,
And
that is, you're 100% correct. about
rightly
that.
so.
Yeah, Prince would knock Clapton out of the park in a one-on-one. Are you kidding me, man?
Yeah.
Clapton's got good riffs. He knows how to put stuff together, not unlike Anthony Cattina. He's got some good riffs. He's got some good moves, baby. He knows how to put it together. But for me, personally, it's just not connecting, because I don't like the cockiness. I don't like that you've been back for 2 weeks. You got yourself in a title spot, and I'm supposed to just accept it? Like, I'm supposed to just accept you?
Just eat it up.
Right? Having said all of that, he made Tyler Jordan look like a bajillion dollars tonight.
Yeah.
There were so many times where, and we know where we're heading, right? He's the number one contender for the media championship. Anthony Cattina is. We know that we're heading toward him and Dustin Jackson. So we know most likely he's not going to lose to Tyler Jordan.
Right.
There were so many points during this match where I forgot that the outcome was supposed to be obvious, because Anthony Cattina gave Tyler Jordan so much, and Tyler Jordan was able to take advantage of Anthony Cattina. I can sit here and talk about the cockiness of the character, which I have no problem doing, but it seems like the individual Anthony Cattina knows what it takes to make someone look really good in a wrestling match.
Yeah, it's not to say that anything we've had to say is, saying it's a bad match. Far from it.
No.
It was just a point on presentation.
And again, I don't know Anthony Cattina. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him yet. A majority of these guys always treat us with respect. I mean, not even a majority. All of these people always treat us with respect. And
Yeah.
all of these people always treat us well. Haven't had the pleasure to sit down with Mr. Cattina yet. Can't wait to sit down with him. Can't wait to be shown that none of that cockiness in the character is representative of the person. But for me, as a baby face, that a person, a wrestler, I'm supposed to eat up as a baby face, he's just not really connecting with me, man.
Well, we'll give him time.
We'll give him time. I mean, he's up against... Here's what I will say, though, is he's up against Dustin this Thursday. That could really go either way with how Catina's been booked and how talented he is.
That's very true.
And it's not a lot of times where someone as strong and as dominant and as in so many predominant storylines as Dustin Jackson is, that I would say, like, oh, man, he might... Dustin Jackson might walk away championship-less on a Thursday night. And
yeah,
it's just that's a testament to Anthony Cattina.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I'm sure he's a nice guy, but again, I can't stand cocky heels. Anyway, Anthony Cattina takes the win over Tyler Jordan. About 2 of the evening, our most recent guests, Justice Davis and Showtime Shanklin. Well, Justice Davis didn't come. Showtime Shanklin came.
No, we'll get to him here later.
And Beaches and Cream. So we know that from weeks prior, Showtime Shanklin and Justice Davis are here to win. They'll get in each other's way to do that.
Yeah.
We saw that at the media championship #1 contenders match. But it seems like they're kind of on the same page, at least for this evening, right? It don't matter, man. This version of Beaches and Cream is the best version of Beaches and Cream. These guys whoop ass. The same way I was just complaining about Anthony Cattina, I want to see him whoop ass more. I don't know if there's any more ass to whoop, because I think Beaches and Cream are whooping it all.
Yeah, and for Luscious Lawrence, that's saying a lot. I mean, he has an ass-based offense.
He
for
does.
crying out loud.
He does. He actually is why there's ass to whoop, because he has to give it away. He has to replenish the stock of whooped ass. Omar Amir here is like the scariest effing dude at the bar, and we know like that's like what he does.
That's just his job.
That's his job. He is a bouncer. Him and Luscious both are bouncers. But like some of these strikes, like they just look, and part of it is because Shanklin and Davis are they're learning a lot about working around a strong guy like Omar.
Yeah.
But some of these strikes, man, some of these lariats just looked like like these guys weren't gonna have heads when they sat back up.
Yeah. Clean off.
I love this version of Luscious and Omar. It seems like, we're still doing Cream.
Sure.
I know that's not going away.
No.
Shanklin got a lot of it. Good on you,
Yeah.
kid. Good on you, kid. But I love this version of Luscious and Omar. We've worked our way back from heels to kind of silly baby faces to we're going to keep that one silly part of us, the cream.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to come out and be basically...
And stomp a mud hole in whoever's in the ring.
We're going to basically behave like heels, but we aren't because we're fighting the bad guys. I love it. And Omar just looks like... He looks so strong.
Yeah.
He looks so strong. And I think that there's a certain intensity when Luscious Lawrence and Omar are playing kind of this more turned loose version of their characters that they never lose a step wrestling wise. Beaches and Cream don't. But whenever they're able to kind of flip that switch of intensity and anger and malice, I think that both of them thrive in that area.
Yeah. They really get into their own zone as far as that goes.
I'll tell you what about Omar Mir. That's a guy who seems really funny, and it scares me.
Yeah.
Like when that man's laughing, I'm concerned that at any moment I'm going to get hit.
You should.
Metaphorically, I don't think he would ever. Maybe never say never.
He might if
You
keep
better
it up.
watch your mouth. That's
Hey,
all
I'm
gonna
just
say.
saying,
That's all I'm
he's-
gonna say is he'll. I've seen him hit people before.
Well, yeah.
On closed caption television, and it looked a little brutal, more brutal than it did on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did see that. Wow.
on TV. So I'm just saying, maybe we only say good things about Omar and Luscious before they come down here, and it's an interview that we can't show for a completely different reason. It's TVMA for a completely different reason: violence and gore. Like I said, I think to wrap it up, we know that Shanklin and Iceman aren't going to be.
They need a little bit more seasoning.
They need some time in the oven.
Yeah.
But I love seeing this version of Omar and Luscious.
Yeah.
I hope that I think this is like the most dialed in that I've seen them so far since kind of the change happened with Tony and Jay.
Yeah.
Since we kind of like completely shed the exoskeleton of Babyface. I think this is like the most complete and kind of definite, kind of defining match that they've had since that change happened.
Yeah, there's a lot more intensity coming from Beaches and Cream these days, and I love to see it.
I'm not turning it down. About 3 of the evening, Brian Hines.
Yeah, about
I'm going to set you up for all this.
About
stuff.
3 of the evening starts off with Icon Lee in the ring, talking like he does. He's like the Chihuahua of OVW. He's the smallest, but he's got the biggest yap. So as far in my head, whenever he's on screen, he's the the Chihuahua is on TV. And he apparently this week he has a problem with Jack Vaughn. And after losing that dance-off to Dude Love, after losing a chest full of hair, Jack Vaughn is not a man that you want to upset.
Well, and I mean, there's just like the obvious of everything. These are 2 very diametrically opposed opponents.
Yeah.
Jack Vaughn, former heavyweight champion. Icon Lee, kind of fly on the shoulder of every wrestler.
Fly on the pile.
Well, I mean, I don't think that. But, you know when cows start swatting their rear end? Because they can't, it's not like they can sit back there and scratch it. They can't really reach around and scratch it. He is the fly on every wrestler in OVW's rear end, essentially.
Until they drag it across the carpet.
Or just smush it with their big thumb. I don't know how much more I could say this, though. The reason that we sit and complain about it every week and the reason that we sit and make fun of him every week is because it works.
Yeah.
It's because it works. And the reason that he gets keep putting back into huge profile positions like Cash Flow, like Jack Vaughn, is because it works.
Yeah.
And guess what, man? I'm going to sit and keep making fun of you because I would much rather make fun of you than tell you how much that, like, you might actually be onto this. You might actually be onto something.
Don't feed his ego.
Oh, I mean.
Don't feed his ego.
The Chihuahua.
His tummy's full, friend. His tummy's full. I honestly, for one, I think that this is like a perfect place for Icon Lee.
Yeah.
Because he's going to end up snagging one of these victories against a guy like Cashflow or against a guy like Jack Vaughn.
And the crowd is going to be
and
so
do you know what
pissed.
do you know what we're going to do? I'll tell you what we're going to do.
What are we going to do?
We're going to become Icon Lee fans that night.
Okay. Well,
All of us, yeah.
I
kind of already am. I want him to put on a third mask.
Where?
like a third helmet?
Wherever he can find a place.
Oh, well, I mean, that's precarious.
Is
He
it like
can
one-
enunciate through two. Come on, guys.
Like one of those cones that they make the dogs wear? So we need the cone, and then we need the helmet, and then we need the helmet on top of the helmet, and we need to make sure that the helmet's strapped on real good and tight.
I'll tell you this. This is where Icon Lee is for me right now. A few years ago, well, we're going to talk about different promotion for a second. I fell in love with a wrestler named Orange Cassidy.
Oh, yeah.
And my friends all hated Orange Cassidy. And I said, wait until he's booked in a 30-minute time limit draw with Cody Rhodes and you see how good he is. Guess what happened about 2 months later? He got booked in a 30-minute time limit draw with Cody Rhodes. Orange Cassidy looked like a star. My friends had to tell me that I was right and they were wrong. We are going to get that or something similar to that with Icon Lee. There is going to be a moment where he becomes so undeniable that we're going to kind of feel as if the joke's been on us for making fun of him.
And I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right.
But it wasn't tonight with Jack
It wasn't
Vaughn.
tonight,
It
no.
wasn't tonight with Jack Vaughn.
No.
Absolutely not.
But it was a beautiful match to watch in its way, though. They were fun to watch work together.
Absolutely. Well, Jack Vaughn is he goes great with everything, man. Goes great with everything.
He's like a little
matches
black
everything
cocktail
you
dress.
got. Yes, he matches everything you got. Looks sexy every night of the week, baby.
I was going to go with like gravy, but
That
okay.
too. But don't get gravy on your little black dress. Then you'll have to take it to the dry cleaners.
I don't have a little black dress.
Oh, I can't fit in mine anymore.
Oh, well.
Nothing about the only thing about me that's little is my name.
So
No, I saw your black dress. It's skimpy.
I mean, it's skimpy for me. Anyway,
yeah.
about to get canceled the other way.
You know, a lot of people have to pay for that.
I know. Let's move along.
Yeah. So the next thing we see is a backstage segment. Dustin Jackson catching a snack.
I'm just gonna actually drink this whole thing while you're talking.
Backstage, catching a snack. On camera. Super Z comes up.
They talk.
They talk. Anthony Katina comes up.
Okay,
They
can't
talk.
do it anymore. Can't do it anymore.
Didn't catch what anybody was saying, but I'm just saying, you know. And once again, afterwards, after the segment airs, it starts back over, and you can see like a little still of the food.
Do you know Jeff Dunham, that really funny comedian that everyone loves?
The ventriloquist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how he likes to drink the water so that he can prove he's not saying anything?
Yeah.
That was me.
Oh,
Moving on.
all right. That's all I'm going to say about
I love
that.
you. I love you. I love this. I love this. I
What?
really do.
What?
That.
What?
You know.
Oh, that. Right. Yeah, I got you. You're picking up what I'm putting down.
Picking it up and putting it down. Match 4 of the evening. OVW Women's Champion J-Rod versus Carter Kaufman. Anybody want to beat me to it? Anybody want to beat me to it? Or do I need to still say it?
You go ahead and say it.
Carter Kaufman, thanks for coming, baby. J-Rod is the most dominant champion in OVW right now. It's regardless of gender, regardless of division. OVW Women's Champion J-Rod is the best champion going in the company. That's even over my favorite, two of my favorites, Dustin Jackson and Beatrice and Cream.
Well, hold on. If memory serves and my maths, doesn't this make Carter Kaufman and J-Rod 1 versus 1?
Well, yeah, but I don't know if I'm picking up what you're putting down. I don't know if I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I'm just saying that, I mean, tonight it was Carter Kaufman, thanks for coming, but of all, who else in the women's division has a win over J-Rod? Can you name anybody?
They're few and far between. Golly, there's got to be who? Tell him, do you have one?
I'm asking because
Like on a rise, not many. And I don't think she's been on Overdrive, really.
Well, can you look up her OVW?
Yeah, I
record?
can do that. Yeah, let me run and go to the web.
'Cause
Y'all go on talking, I'll find it for you.
When I say most dominant, though,
Oh, I don't disagree with
that
that.
only speaks to kind of, I guess, our point is like we're sitting here racking each other's brains. Who's picked up a win over J-Rod? Who's picked up a win over J-Rod?
And the only one we can come up with is Carter Kaufman.
OVW loves the series.
I refuse to acknowledge that win
What?
because it takes away from my joke.
Oh.
Carter Kaufman, thanks for coming.
That's why I said it. I mean, tonight, yes, that was true. Carter Kaufman, thanks for coming. It was pretty much a squash match. But, even a stopped clock is right twice a day.
I'll say this about Carter Kaufman. I said it. I've echoed this before. She jumped straight into the new dude review stuff, and I'm very glad that because I think I was kind of afraid. I was a little timid about the prospect of Carter Kaufman without the rest of the new dude review.
Sure.
She's still there in the dude love stuff. We've kind of gotten rid of the softball player gimmick. I think that's going to be a huge boon to Carter Kaufman coming in the coming months and weeks.
Although, one, it is almost baseball season. And two,
that only matters in Ohio.
Well, it did in 1990 and in the mid-'70s, but now not so much. But her entrance is still the baseball stuff.
R.I.P. Charlie Hustle.
R.I.P. Charlie Hustle. Remind me sometime. I'll tell you the story about the two times I met him.
I know one of them. I would love to hear the other one.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it later. It's a whole different thing.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
WWE Hall of Famer.
That's right.
Pete Rose. No, I kind of, for me, the baseball gimmick thing was always kind of a non-starter. Softball gimmick thing that was kind of a non-starter for me. And on top of that, when you're calling J-Rod the ultimate athlete and the person she's standing across the ring from has a more traditional athlete gimmick, it automatically draws a parallel that maybe doesn't need to be drawn, and then it automatically kind of would really, really put into question like the softball gimmick in general, because if you guys are both athletes, this is the ultimate athletes, and she just whooped your ass. You know,
that's very athletic.
Where can you go? Not a sponsor, Athletic Brewing. Please sponsor us.
Yes.
That drawing that parallel kind of just doesn't make sense for me personally, and I just thought that it was kind of always a non-starter of a gimmick, man. Like,
it is a little unusual. I can't think of a whole lot of other baseball gimmicks that we've seen over the years, or I guess hugely successful ones.
I can think of just one, the Baseball Furies from the Warriors. It's the only scary baseball gimmick of all time.
Okay, I can see that.
Gentlemen, I have an update.
Okay.
Yes.
According to Cage Match, as best as I read it, J-Rod, since becoming champion on August 28th, 2024,
We were there.
Yep.
J-Rod is 19-1.
And that one is Carter Kaufman.
And that one is Carter Kaufman.
Yep.
Good memory, Brian Hines.
That's right. Yeah.
I was so ready to make my little jokes and be a little fancy lad that I had forgotten that we actually host a wrestling show around here.
No, yeah. Some of us keep that in perspective.
What can we say, though? What can we say? J-Rod wins by submission, and then after the match reminds everybody, as if they had forgotten, that she's the one responsible for Hollywood Haley J not being in OVW anymore.
Of course, yeah. The heeliest of heel things to do. Healy Dan.
Healy Dan? I don't have one. I don't have one after that.
I
was really hoping I could come up with something good, but
That's all right. We still got an hour.
You could just come up with the 90s soul singer, Heel.
what a heel believes.
Okay.
She came from revolution. You want to take us away on this next one?
So the next match, Superior Tony Evans comes to the ring. I love watching him work on the mic. It is so. That was one of the first things that really grabbed my attention when I started watching this. Victor.
Oh, we
senior
actually
producer
we
Victor
actually just heard
Anderson.
Malachi again back there stretching. Did
Wow,
you hear
that was a stretch and groan.
Yeah,
not
that's what I
stretch
get
and
for
grow.
having the mic unmuted back here, guys. Sorry.
No,
Let that
that-
be a lesson to you.
Malachi, are you feeling good after that stretch, buddy? It sounded great. He's saying yes.
Sounds like it's about nap 30.
Well, man, after the afternoon I've had, I could take one.
Yeah, I hear you. And we're probably putting him to sleep anyway. Yeah. So
We love Tony Evans.
we do, yeah. Out there hushing as he does, Jay De Niro out there not saying a word and looking intimidating as he always does. Always very sharply dressed. Are you a member of the Jay De Niro Shoe Appreciation Society?
I know that you are.
I am, yes.
They're a little much for me personally. You got to have a lot of confidence to pull some double wings off the way that Jay De Niro does, and I just don't know if I could do it.
He does it week after week, man.
I just don't know if I have that confidence, man.
Well, we'll get into shoe game later, but the opponent tonight. Love to see Big Zo.
I actually audibly laughed.
Did you?
When I saw Big Zo come out, knowing that he was going to go toe-to-toe with Tony Evans.
Yeah.
There was a couple of times where Big Zo, I'm not even going to say throw. I'm going to say the word rejected Tony Evans across the ring. And
Pretty much.
he did that thing where he kind of it's like he slipped in a puddle or he spilled a little bit of mustard on his T-shirt and he looked around to see who saw it. Every time he got thrown, and I'm like, dude, you just got done dressing these people down. Like, you know that you're in a packed arena, in a packed Davis arena, and you're still trying to keep your cool. Just a small, very small little thing that informs so much of Tony Evans, the character.
Yeah.
Who saw that? Nobody saw that, right?
Yeah, I love that. You didn't see that. You didn't see nothing.
Obviously, though, it ain't Zo time tonight. No, it is Zo time.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Did you watch the same show I did?
I actually was looking over my camera and didn't see the notes correctly. I just saw the end of the next note.
It's Zo time, go time, baby.
I apologize for that.
I have to admit, my heart stopped for a moment. I'm like, did I put the wrong finish on the notes?
No. That was me being unprofessional.
Not unofficial, unprofessional.
Unprofessional.
It was definitely Big Zo's night, man. He was feeling it. He came out, was in a great mood, got a great energy. I love this guy. I love watching him work. Even got the Three Stooges action in there. When Superior Tony Evans tried to hit him with a double eye poke, he pulled the Mo Howard and put his hand directly in front of his nose, which prevented him from getting poked in the eyes.
But Tony did not complete the Three Stooges by separating the pointer fingers.
That's true.
That is if you've ever seen an episode of Three Stooges, you know that combo.
Yeah. And I sure have.
Surprising that he didn't pull that out, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
What does this mean for Big Zo to take home a victory on a Thursday night against Tony Evans?
I think in the grand scheme of things where the stories are now, this is momentum building for a rematch with Mount Kadim.
I love it. I love where your head's at. A former heavyweight champion in the form of Tony Evans, a guy who's all over the gold scene, really, always at the top of the card, Tony Evans. I actually really like where your head's at. Well,
in the video piece we see afterwards, Big Zo's, he knows what's up. He was quoting Hendrix.
He was literally singing.
Yeah.
And it was delightful.
Yeah, and he was talking about
Drink.
chopping down a mountain with the edge of his hand, and he's talking about Mount Kadim.
Absolutely. I actually would love to see, because I think we're kind of edging ourselves closer and closer to maybe another meeting between Pectacular and Mount Kadim. I actually would love to see Big Zo kind of flow through the undercurrent and rise above the immediate pairing.
Kind of surface in between them and then kind of jump in. I would love that.
I actually think that is a white hot spot for Big Zo.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like that may very well be the case.
I love it, man. I'm fully on board with that. Big Zo for champion.
Yeah, he had some nice things to say in the fan zone this week, by the way, if I didn't get a chance to tell you that by now.
Oh, I did not know that. Good.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more during Fan Zone Live, I thought. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it now so that I'm not unprofessional on Fans Live. Yeah, so Zoe takes care of Jay De Niro. That, of course, ensures his victory against Tony Evans. Big Zoe takes home the victory. Wow, look at us. When I was rewatching the show last night, I texted you. You know, I've actually was wondering earlier this week what happened to Brandon Beretta, and if we were ever going to get any payoff from the turkey suit. And then, lo and behold, Thanksgiving came early. Brandon Beretta was on this episode of Ohio Valley Wrestling this past week, turkey suit clad in all of his glory. And
I hope he washes that thing.
Oh, I hope he doesn't. I hope he just is in his own filth in it.
He's out there with the turkey stank.
You can talk about gravy.
Oh.
You come out and you almost feel sorry for the kid, right? And then he's like just doing the same old stuff where he's just like, well, I'm a trained wrestler and I don't come out here with any music and I'm into all black trunks and I'm supposed to be the best professional. Da, da, da. And then you're like, okay, yeah, kid, shut up. This is actually kind of annoying. And then for a millisecond, though, I was like, oh, it probably is time to take him out of the thing. He hasn't been around a lot in the new year.
That's true.
Maybe it is time to take him out of the thing so that way next time he is available to come to Ohio Valley Wrestling, he'll be free of the turkey suit. And then Cash Flow came out, and I was like, sorry, kid.
Yeah. You are an adult in footy pajamas for another week. Because tonight ain't your night. Yeah.
At least. An adult in
festive footy pajamas.
An adult in footy pajamas with sweatbands on for some reason.
That actually makes me happy because that means that they make footy pajamas for kids my size.
Well, I think you got a couple inches on Brandon Beretta.
Well, I do, but
I
if
think
they make
he's
him that
wider
big,
than
they
you.
probably make him a little bit bigger than that. He's probably wearing like a medium or something. I'd probably be like a large.
I think he's wearing like a triple X. That thing doesn't seem to fit him
He looks
at
like
all.
one of those sugar gliders. Like he could jump off a cliff and just be like.
What's a sugar glider? Is that a thing in Ohio?
It's like a squirrel.
No, it's a squirrel with
It's like
webbed
Rocket-
appendages.
It's like Rocket J squirrel.
That's
and
called
there's like webs between their legs, so they
It's
can
called a
just kind of.
flying squirrel from us normal people.
There's a different species that's smaller, and they're called sugar gliders.
There can't be two different species if they're both squirrels and they both fly. They're both just flying squirrels.
You can't be a turkey and a wrestler either, but here we are.
Well, he's not much of a wrestler. He gets beat every single time he goes out. He got beat by 29 other dudes or whatever in the reverse battle royal.
And that's why he's still wearing the turkey suit.
Yeah, but then he comes out, I'm the best. I don't have any entrance music.
Strictly business at 450 degrees for 8 hours Thanksgiving morning.
Is it an hour per? What is it per pound?
I didn't realize it was going to be math.
And Brandon Beretta was like, what? 2:15?
You cook until the thing goes.
Okay, we're going to draw the line on cannibalism, I think.
It wasn't cannibalism. I was trying to give cooking tips about human flesh. No, about turkeys. About turkeys.
Turkeys. Turkey.
I mean, Soylent Green.
Yeah, it's made out of turkey.
That's where we're heading. So
Yeah.
Let's head on to my favorite match of the night.
let's do it. Brandon Beretta and Cash Flow. Do we really need to say anything else? It's Brandon Beretta versus Cash Flow. Cash Flow
won. Yeah.
Cash Flow won. Brandon Beretta's in the turkey suit for at
Cash
least
Flow's
another
on the
week.
come up. Don't get in his way.
So Eric Surge and Donovan Cecil was your favorite match of the night.
I enjoyed this a lot.
Why? Can I ask why?
Well, for
No
one,
wrong answers. Can I ask why?
Well, I wouldn't assume. Honestly, it's the first time I've seen a time limit draw in OVW in this way.
Love a time.
And you've kind of made me want to see those.
I do talk a lot, wax poetically almost, about time limit draws.
And I was like, finally. They're just well suited. I thought this was an incredible match. I love the kind of dark turn that Donovan is taking to his personality. I love the darker approach. I want to see more.
I can't disagree with anything that you just said.
I think he should start calling himself Kentucky's Strongest Monster. That's what occurred to me as he was walking in. I think that I love the kind of darker presentation with the gothy look.
Well, and you guys have had conversations about Bray Wyatt, Wyatt 6, and stuff like that. Do you see, in kind of Donovan's darker presentation, do you see anything like that?
I've seen a couple of things where he's been in other places and has been more of a heel. That is a very intimidating mammoth. Not that he's not an intimidating individual to begin with, but that intensity is certainly not to be messed with. And God help you if you piss him off.
He reminds me a lot of this version of him. Reminds me a lot of like Triple H during the Reign of Terror. Just very, very, very cocky, very, very, very arrogant, very, very, very confident, and also just kind of beating everybody.
Yeah.
I had complained a few weeks ago about like, man, it seems like we put a lot of work into Eric Surge in 2025, and here I am 6 weeks into 2025, and I don't know that any of this work is paid off. I feel like Eric Surge has just become another dude. No better way to reestablish Eric Surge than having him go literally minute for minute, second for second with Donovan Cecil.
Yeah.
This version of Donovan Cecil is to borrow something from our producer, a monster, a legit, true monster. The way that like Mount Kadeem really hasn't been, and Mount Kadeem's a monster. Eric Surge really hasn't been. Eric Surge is on his way to becoming a monster. This version of Donovan Cecil is a monster, right? He took all of the NBA players' ego and whatever from Space Jam, and he injected it into himself, and he became a monster. Okay, like. I love this version of Donovan Cecil. Black trunks, super serious, all business, strictly business. Donovan Cecil, right?
That's the other guy.
No, but this is maybe even more apt for Donovan Cecil to call him strictly business. How better than to reestablish Eric Surge though, with a time limit draw, double pin scenario.
Yeah.
Now, if I could ask you who this has the potential to remind you of from this past year in OVW, what would you say? We talked about one of them just a few minutes ago, at least for me. I'm thinking we're going to go into a big, long program of two big, meaty dudes slapping man meat, two true hosses, two shooters off the bench. I think we're seeing kind of a replay of Big Zoe and Shane Mercer.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Which was some of the best of the actual what was going on in the ring. Some of the most fun to watch in 2024.
Some of the best wrestling we've seen covering this podcast, bar none. Some of the best wrestling we've seen covering this podcast, bar none. And I mean, honestly, a poetic, very kind of poetic ending here. Double knockout, hands draped, arms draped over one another. They're both on their back. Fans want to see more. They know that we're going to get more. They want it, but they can't wait another week. They can't wait until the pay-per-view. They can't wait another second. We have to see more right now.
They want it all, and they want it now.
But there is I Want the World. But there is a time limit draw, which means we got to wait, baby. We got to wait for at least another week to see these two guys lock horns again.
Yeah, and we got a nice effort of sportsmanship from both of them, shaking hands afterwards.
Yeah.
And if you're going to get a draw, I guess it is what it is. It's kind of like kissing your sister, but the sportsmanship is really where it's at.
I mean, my sister's pretty hot, but the cut that, Malachi. The I guess what I would say is that show of sportsmanship. The next time we see these two together, if this is the beginning of a rivalry between the two, a program between the two, the next time we see the two of these men together, do we see the same amount of sportsmanship?
Until somebody gets pissed, and then all bets are off.
So that I agree with that. That leads me to my next question: who's getting pissed? P-I-S-T, pissed. Who's doing it?
My money's on Donovan.
I was gonna say I don't want to break your heart, man. I know you love Donovan. He's been very nice to us. It's gonna be Donovan.
It's gonna be Donovan. Yeah.
There's been. I don't know if we can contribute it to TW3 departing or whatever. I don't know exactly what it is, but there's been kind of a rage building behind the eyes of the Mammoth these last few months.
Could be TW3's absence. Could also just be like he's a freak of nature. He's a freak of nature. If you knew that you could beat everybody the way that Donovan Cecil knows in his heart of hearts he could beat anybody, that's gonna make you angry. It's gonna put a chip on your shoulder.
Oh yeah.
Especially when we talked on here forever. You talked on here very specifically about like 2024 has got to be the year that he gets singles championship gold. Love to see his run with Tussin Chains.
Yeah.
But I can't help but feel a little, man, I really thought this was going to be Donovan Cecil's year. A little disappointed by that. Imagine being Donovan Cecil and thinking it was your year. And it turned out that you didn't quite get there.
And that would be enough for him to be pissed, P-I-S-T.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Yep.
It feels like a song in a musical. I'm pissed, P-I-S-T.
Yeah, it was in Avenue Q, actually.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. But it does sound like a song from Avenue Q, does it not?
I thought you were going to belt out Be Our Guest.
That too.
Have you seen Avenue Q?
No, the only Q I know works in the warehouse.
I think you would actually love Avenue Q because the entire premise is that it's an adult version of Sesame Street, and it's done with puppetry.
Oh, that's definitely up my alley for sure.
They have some great songs. Like, the internet is really, really great for porn. They have some great some really great songs.
I'm going to point at the sign.
That's just an industry.
I'm just pointing at it.
That's just a word.
I'm going to point at you for pointing at the sign.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah.
P.S.
I've learned my lesson.
P.S.
He's playing video
Yeah,
games.
he's playing video games. All right, never mind.
I'm going to point at this shirt, this newest rocker shirt, because in our next match, we see Cal Hero coming out wearing this very gear.
I noticed that, yeah. That's sharp gear, and that's an even sharper shirt.
I love this shirt.
Don't cut yourself on
I
it.
love this shirt.
Yeah.
No, I ain't going to be this shirt. I'm going to cut through this shirt with how cold it is in here.
I hear you. Yeah.
The main event of the evening. The main event of the evening is a big old multi-man match. 8 people, 4 heels, 4 baby faces.
So this is an 8-man elimination tag?
It's like a gauntlet style, kind of.
Kind of.
So they tag in and out. There can only be one legal man from each team at a time. Pinfall submission, you're eliminated. Last man standing.
And we see, basically, anytime you have big matches like this is not only a great opportunity to get all of your stars in one place, really make a blowout final segment of your television show, right?
Yeah.
And this match serves this function.
It definitely did. I loved the progress. I love the progression of this match. You know, it's the biggest faces in the locker room versus the Revolution being so incredibly dastardly and underhanded and slimy. It's, true good versus evil in this match, and somebody from your team loses, that's it. They're not in there anymore, and then it's you work back and forth until we have one last man standing. And the storytelling in this was pretty epic, I gotta say. I really enjoyed the storytelling in this match because we kind of had an idea of how some of it was going to go,
Sure,
but not all of it.
So what you have here basically is you have the story of the match, which is four men versus 4 other men. You also have every single thing that happens during the course of the match building to or commenting on ongoing storylines.
Yes.
The biggest which of being, obviously, and I'm a little surprised by this. I actually am a little surprised that we didn't see the end of Doug and Dustin at the pay-per-view. The biggest which is Doug Basham, the national heavyweight champion, and Dustin Jackson are the last 2 people in the ring.
Yeah.
Very surprised by this. How we got there is, of course, Jamin Olivencia shows up.
It was even more surprising. So the first, there's a lot of tags in and out. You see Mount Kadeem versus Dustin Jackson. You see Mount Kadeem versus Jesse Goddard.
Mm-hmm.
You see him versus Star Rider. You get to see pretty much just about every single combination you could with 4 on one side versus 4 on the other side. But there were some things in this match that I didn't anticipate seeing. Let's see. The biggest one for me was Evil Z.
Oh, yeah. He comes in with
a video, a threatening video, and
where he's holding one of our friends.
yeah, Brian Kennison is in mortal peril.
Didn't see
Comic book cartoonish mortal peril.
I really didn't see that coming at
No,
all.
I didn't, but I absolutely love it. I love the Star Rider and Evil Z angle, and I can't wait to see what they've got coming up next.
Well, and who knew Kinnison could play Distressed so well?
It was like an episode of Scooby
Wrestlers on
Doo.
Netflix.
It was like an episode of Scooby Doo in the middle of this match, kind of.
Yeah, it's a lot of hijinks, a lot of shenanigans, a lot of doors closing and shutting, and a funky soundtrack.
People in a hallway chasing each other, and they're going through the door this way, and then this way, and then this way, and then they run into each other, and then they go the other way. Hijinks.
Yeah, so Evil Super Z is involved. Evil Z. Jamin Olivencia is involved. He's got Cal Hero's number. He doesn't even have to lace up his boots to get in Cal Hero's head. It's gonna be bad for Cal whenever they finally wrestle.
Yeah,
he's gonna get dog walked.
Probably.
It's gonna be bad.
But then he gets to come back, and
Oh yeah, that's how wrestling works. But like Jamin Olivencia, from a storyline perspective, got Cal Hero so incredibly and totally absolutely shook that there's no way that the first match can be competitive, right?
Yeah, straight Sinatra style. He's got you under his skin.
He's got you. He's got him under his skin.
Yeah.
He's got him. He's doing some witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
He's got it his way. Cal's just in his shadow.
I can't think of any more.
I'm running
outside
out.
of New York.
It's Davis Arena, and it's
Jamin's
Jamin's,
Chicago.
Yeah,
my kind of town.
Yeah, it's Jamin's kind of town.
Well, there you go.
I should know more for Sinatra than that.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of any more, unfortunately.
Jamin. Oh yeah, Cal's got him under his skin.
We already said that one.
Oh, we did. Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
In fact,
I'm sorry. I'm Brian Hines, and this is Jack Minogues, and we're on the OVW podcast. Are
I'm
you paying
sorry
attention?
I repeated something. My apologies. I'm trying to think of Sinatra things.
I'm just saying, repeating patterns, man. Repeating patterns.
Well, I mean, never mind.
Anyway.
Actually, I'm going to go back to drinking this beer.
It was.
I don't want to talk about patterns of behavior on here.
Fair enough. Just don't eat on camera. So there's. I mean, this match is like a kitchen sink of a match. Everything you can think of might happen happens, and everybody whittles down until there are 2 men left in the ring, and those two are
Doug Basham and Dustin Jackson.
That's right.
And kind of surprisingly so, because we've seen Doug Basham steal so many matches from so many people.
Yeah.
Up to and including Dustin Jackson at the pay-per-view.
Brilliantly by faking an injury and crying in the ring.
Well, brilliance.
The performance
It worked.
was.
It worked.
That's all that matters.
Well,
a win's a win.
I will take it out of kayfabe for a moment. Performance-wise, that actually was like...
Yeah.
That was better than Nicole Kidman and Baby Girl.
I don't know what you just said, kid, but I believe you.
You'd like that. You should see that movie.
Well, we should hang out more outside of this.
For your own personal time, you should see that movie.
I see.
And
right.
anybody else out there that likes Nicole Kidman. But, yeah, he was really putting on an Oscar-worthy performance a couple weeks ago. So in that, I'm kind of surprised that Dustin Jackson took the victory home.
Especially after AJZ roughed him up. He was in there doing Leather Daddy Doug's dirty work.
Well, we know that that's kind of the MO of the Revolution, right?
Well, yeah.
We know that that's kind of what the Revolution is kind of built around. For as much kind of posturing as there was about family and about unity at the beginning of the Revolution is kind of, it seems, growing more and more into a vanity project for Doug Basham.
I don't disagree with that.
In kayfabe.
I don't disagree with that.
So it is surprising that Dustin took home the victory, especially because Doug doesn't like getting his hands dirty. He comes in to swoop, really. He comes in to eliminate Dustin at the end. He comes in for the easy part.
Yeah.
Dustin's got him scouted, man. Dustin's still one of the smartest players in the game. We always give so much respect to dirty players in professional wrestling. Dustin's just smart, and he's gritty, and he doesn't give up.
Yeah. It looked like this time around he was the one who was playing possum.
Well, he's not only familiar with Doug Basham in the ring. He learned from him.
Well, yeah.
Doug Basham was
no-brainer.
literally his coach. So I do like to see some more, speaking to your point, I do like to see maybe a little bit more of Dustin Jackson willing to play those kind of games against someone like Doug Basham.
That's the only way to do it.
Like, hey, saying fair fights are out the door now, brother. We ain't doing this.
All bets are off.
I'm bringing the proverbial gun to the proverbial knife fight.
Yeah, and he most certainly did.
I guess, moving forward, we're going to see more of Dustin Jackson and Doug Basham. We're definitely going to see more of Jamin Olavincia and Cal Hero. In fact, this week we're seeing Cal Hero and Super Z versus Star Rider and Evil Z. So there's kind of the continuation of Super Z's story right there. And then I think at least in the short term, we're seeing Godders versus Kadeem.
Yeah, for now.
So there's kind of my guesses on where we're heading out of this match.
Yeah, I would say that is entirely agreeable.
So, I mean, really, without further to say, I guess we'll just see what happens next Thursday.
Yeah, that's how it usually works. I'm here for it.
For all of us here at the OVW podcast, my name is Jack Minoaks.
I'm Brian Hines.
For Tiny Brian and Malachi P.S. Woodard, thank you guys so much for listening. I love ya.
Take care.